Hello, you guys. So, this is going to be my final video talking about Lot's wife. So, in my other video, I talked about that the destruction from Sodom and Gomorrah has started with a violent earthquake, which set fire to the gases and sulfur. Firebrands were falling around her. Though Lot's wife had followed her husband into the wilderness, she had that same problem that the Israelites did in the wilderness, as in their hearts they turned back to Egypt, as it says in Acts 7, verse 39. Just like the Israelites, she was destroyed. So Lot's wife personifies the classic wisdom of, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also," as it says in Matthew 6, verse 21. Jesus used her as an example of someone who started the right way but looked back because she was not completely willing to give up her old ways to follow God in obedience. So, for this story, it serves a solemn warning against attachment to the world and disobedience to God's commands. Jesus does highlight her fate in Luke 17:32, reminding believers to prioritize salvation over earthly possessions and to resist looking back at past sinful life and remain fully committed to God. Because if you guys want to know what happened to her, or if you guys already know, when Lot was escaping from the town along with his wife unfortunately turned back and she was turned into a pillar of salt. So Lot's wife represents a divided heart, physically escaping judgment but emotionally clinging to the luxuries or life in Sodom. It warns that loving the world can prevent total commitment to God, as it says in the Bible that friendship with the world is an enemy to God. The danger of looking back, which is her act of looking back, signifies disobedience, regret, or a longing for the old life, indicating that partial obedience is still considered disobedience. A call for urgent faith, which Jesus uses her, was an example of what to avoid during his return: distraction by possessions and failure to flee immediately from sin. So, the lesson emphasizes trusting God's plan for salvation, moving forward without focusing on the past, and allowing God's grace to lead one away from destruction. So, for believers, this story encourages, remember Lot's wife in Luke 17, verse 32, to keep their hearts, minds, and actions focused on Christ and not on the treasures of this world. Every day, remind yourself to focus on God and to make sure that none of these things in this world will distract you, even though we're going to go through distractions. But it is our job to make sure that we focus on Christ and not on the treasures of this world. Thank you guys for listening to my videos. God bless.